What do I think of your championship fan base? Hello, and welcome back to the Blue Dragon YouTube channel, where we discuss all things Premier League and Championship. In today's video, I am going to be taking you through what I think of every club in the Championship and giving my rating out of 10. Last time I did this was for the Premier League, and that video got 25 likes, so here I am again doing for the Championship. Please remember that this is my opinion and not fact. Please like the video if you enjoy helping me grow the channel, and put your opinions in the comments on different fan bases. Bristol City Bristol fans from the southwest of England are known prominently throughout England, despite the club itself never reaching the Premier League. The club itself right now is seen to be the most centred team in the Championship. Despite this, Ashton Gate still manages to sell upwards on 20,000 seats most game weeks. Because of Bristol's location, there are many clubs around this area which also attract many fans. One of those being Bristol Rovers, and that derby game is one of the most passionate ones in the country. Overall, Bristol has a decent fan base, especially considering the number of clubs in that area. They often bring good numbers to away games as well. So after considering this, I'm going to give Bristol City a 7 out of 10. Blackburn Rovers Blackburn are a side who in recent seasons have been stuck in the centre of the Championship after gaining promotion from League One. I think it's fair to say that Blackburn's home attendances had been quite poor in recent seasons, especially considering the history of the club. As well as this last season, Wood Park was statistically the emptiest ground in the Championship, with only 49.6% of the ground being full on a match day. As well as this, the club itself has been progressing quite nicely over the last couple of years, with this season the club looking to threaten to get into the playoff places. The club's away attendances also aren't anything to write home about. However, the club does have quite a lively feel to it on the match day, and you can see that the home fans are very passionate about their club. Despite this, I am going to give Blackburn fans a 5 out of 10. Burnley next. We go to Blackburn's neighbours in Burnley, who have had great success in the last decade or so, as the fan base has definitely grown massively thanks to the club's success in the Premier League. I think Burnley are quite similar to Blackburn, as they don't have too many fans, but the ones that they do have are obviously very passionate about their club in quite a deprived area. In my opinion, Burnley's home support is better than their away support, with the club averaging home attendances of around 20,000 people, and the overall capacity of Turf Moor hold 25,000, making for a really good atmosphere on match days. Whereas the club do struggle to bring many supporters, in particular to the more southern of Championship teams, depending on location mainly. Overall, I think Burnley fans are quite good and always very loud, so I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10. Cardiff City. I'm a Cardiff fan, so I might be a bit biased. But over the last 5 years, attendances at the Cardiff City Stadium have dropped by around 9,000 fans per home game, with Cardiff being relegated from the Premier League. The atmosphere around the stadium has also dropped significantly in recent years. However, I think, despite the hardships that we as a football club have gone through in the last 5 years, there are times when we have a big game. For example, the Swansea game, when the fan base really gets up for it, and in those games, I think we have one of the best atmospheres, certainly for a team with the catchment area of Cardiff. But with the right investment, a potential big club like Cardiff should be doing better at this moment in time. Therefore, I am going to rate my fellow Cardiff City fans a 5 out of 10. Coventry City. I do rate Sky Blues fans quite highly, especially with all the turmoil that the club has been through in recent seasons. With the club not having a stadium and having to move in with the likes of Birmingham City, which is ironic since they are now in League One. Home attendances for Coventry are normally quite high for a Championship club, with them averaging around 25,000 last seasons compared to 20,000 the Arl. Season before that, we see every year Coventry getting more and more people to come and watch their attacking style of football under the leadership, of course, of Frank Lampard. The club itself is of course from the Midlands, which means it is easier for Coventry to reach more away games, which means better away support as well. So, because of all of this, and a constant increase in attendances, I am going to rate Coventry an 8.5 out of 10. Derby County next up, we take a look at the Rams, who are quite similar to Coventry, in that they do have consistently high home attendances, with last season in League One of them averaging more at home than several championship clubs, which I think show how big of a club Derby is. Derby, similar to Coventry, is in the Midlands area, and despite there being many different football teams in this area, Derby County remains as on E of the very best in terms of attendances anyway, with this season in the Championship Derby typically getting around 28,000 on average. This makes Derby one of the best supported home teams in the country. Unfortunately for them, they have struggled in recent time but will be hoping to get back to the Premier League as soon as possible. I am going to rate Derby County fans a 9 out of 10, considering the fans' clear passion and commitment towards their club. Hull City Hull fans tend to be like most northern clubs, in that they are very passionate about their clubs. Hull City have an average home attendance of 20 to 1,000, which is about average for the Championship. Also, their away attendances are quite good, with Hull fans often travelling up and down the country to watch the Tigers play away, with some very decent attendances. Of course, the famous chant is mauled by the Tigers, and I remember last season Hull City fans were very good down at the Cardiff City Stadium. So for me, I think Hull have quite a mixed fan base since being promoted to the Championship a couple of years ago, with often being a decent atmosphere at the MKM Stadium. So because of this, I am going to rate Hull City a 7 out of 10. Leeds United next, we go to Elland Road, the home of Leeds United. And for me, they have one of the best fan bases, not just in the Championship, but also in the whole country. At the moment, Leeds United are the giants of the Championship, and at the moment, their fan base reflects that. The average home attendance for Leeds United are above about 30,000 consistently. I would say that Leeds are one of the most well-known sides in the Championship, and are a powerhouse of a fan base, with them often selling out many away. Stands in the Championship with a very loud and passionate fan base who travel up and down the country as one of the biggest teams in the Championship. Because of all of this, I am going to give Leeds fans a 9 out of 10. Luton Town Luton are a club who seem to have come out of nowhere over the last decade up into the Championship with quite a small fan base, as in the Premier League Luton had an average attendance of 11,000 out of 12,000 in the Premier League. Soon, Luton Town will have a new stadium which will allow for that fan base to grow even further. In my opinion though, I do not rate Luton fans, as they don't really travel in numbers, and the atmosphere at Kenilworth Road for this season in particular has been quite poor, despite how well the team has played in recent seasons. And I know that the fan base can be good at times, but overall, I am going to have to rate Luton fans a 5 out of 10. Middlesbrough Borough have an average home attendance of 24,000 fans in the Championship, which is one of the higher attendances in the league. I have to say, I think that Borough have a very good fan base, especially at home. It is often absolutely bouncing at the Riverside Stadium. Also, I think that because of where they are in the northeast near Newcastle and Sunderland, their home attendances become more impressive, as they have many big clubs surrounding them geographically. Middlesbrough don't tend to bring too many fans on away trips, but they often show up in consistent numbers away from home, and they are a very good fan base, so overall I am going to rate Borough fans a 8 out of 10. Millwall the Lions, in my opinion, have the most passionate fan bases in the Championship. Despite this, they do have one of the lowest attendances in the Championship. But to be fair to Millwall, they are in an area where there are many different clubs, such as West Ham of course, Millwall's bitter rivals, and in the London area. As a whole, Millwall also tend to have quite low away attendances as well, but despite having one of the lowest attendances in the Championship, Millwall make up for that in noise and passion. And they have a reputation around the country for being absolutely mental bunch of fans. So because of this, I am going to rate Millwall a solid 8 out of 10 because of their reputation across the country. Norwich City, the Canaries, have an average home attendance of 26,000, which is way above average in the Championship. Norwich do have one of the largest fan bases in the Championship for both home and away games. As well as the Norwich fans are known for being very consistent year on year, as since they have been relegated from the Premier League, we have not seen that much of a drop-off in attendances. The club itself for many years was the definition of a yo-yo club, but despite this, Norwich fans support their club through the good times and the bad times. They aren't usually the loudest, but they do travel in numbers almost the opposite of Millwall. So with all of this in mind, I am going to give Norwich an 8.5 out of 10. Oxford United. Next up we go to the Cassim Stadium, home to Oxford United. Oxford aren't a club with a big fan base, to say the least. In my opinion, Oxford are a club who are very small for the Championship, as so far this season the club have the lowest average home attendance, with only around 11,000 fans attending games regularly. The atmosphere this season has been quite good. For the most part, this is largely due to a great start to their Championship campaign, where many, including myself, had tipped them to finish bottom of the league. In terms of away support for Oxford, they are about average for a team with Championship fan base. I don't think their fan base is anything to be so happy about or ashamed of. Their ground is near full most weeks, so you must give Oxford credit for that. So I'm going to give Oxford a 6 out of 10. Plymouth Argyle. For a team who currently sit bottom of the Championship as of January 2025, Plymouth have got overall one of the most loyal fan bases in the country. Considering where Plymouth are geographically as well, near the coast of England, it is much harder for away fans to travel around the country, yet they are very good at doing so. Also, week on week, for a team in the relegation fight, Plymouth get consistently average numbers at Home Park, with this season them averaging a total PE of 16,446, and that becomes more impressive with the fact that Home Park on holds 17,900, which makes for a great atmosphere there in the big games. Unfortunately for Plymouth fans this season, the players haven't managed to do so well. I think Plymouth fans are up there with some of the best in the league, so for that, I'm going to give them an 8.5 out of 10. Portsmouth. Now we go to newly promoted Portsmouth, who have got quite a good fan base throughout the South Coast despite having Premier League Southampton right next door. As I said, Pompey are a club well supported and have an average match attendance each game of 20,000 people, which is quite a lot considering they are a newly promoted side. In terms of away games for Pompey, they are again quite average, which is quite good since geographically they are situated on the south coast, similar to Plymouth, making it harder for many supporters to attend most away games, but they still do relatively well in that department. I would say Portsmouth have a solid fan base for the Championship, and for that I'm going to give them a 7.5 out of 10. Preston North End. Preston are a club who have been in the Championship for a very long time now, and so have their fans so far this season. Their average home attendance at Deepdale is 16,775, which is below average for a Championship club. In my opinion, Preston away fans can also be pretty poor, with them often struggling to go to many of the teams in south of England, and instead sticking with the teams in the north that are closer. Over the last couple of seasons, in my opinion, Deepdale has been one of the grounds most devoid of atmosphere in the whole Championship, with Preston fans only covering about 65% of the ground on average match day. So, with all of this in mind, I am going to give Preston fans a 5 out of 10. Queen's Park Rangers. QPR are quite a historic London club, who in recent seasons have fallen off the pace a little bit in terms of the football, and so have their fan base. So far this season, QPR have one of the lowest average attendances in the Championship, with 15,000 most match days. Rangers have got quite a small fan base. This is mainly because they are a London-based club, and there are many other clubs based in that are making it harder for lower down in the pyramid QPR to attract many supporters. This is also reflected in away following, as often Rangers don't bring many fans and lack much energy in that away end. Having said that, they are a club who have many passionate fans, and you can see that amongst the crowd in Loftus Road, and who knows, maybe the fans could push the players to get those playoff places. So now, I am going to give QPR fans a 6 out of 10. Sheffield United, now we have one of the big sides in this year's championship with fans up and down the country, and being one of the biggest clubs in the country with an average match attendance at Bramall Lane of 28,000 people, which is a massive amount in the championship. This also shows the fans' loyalty towards their club, as we haven't seen that big of a drop-off in terms of attendance for Sheffield United since their relegation from the Premier League. This is made even more impressive by the fact that they have got another massive club, Sheffield Wednesday, right around the corner, but we will get onto them in a minute. Also, in terms of away fans, they rank as one of the best in the league, with United fans travelling around the country in big numbers to watch the team play. Sheffield United fans do have a great passion for their football team, as do all football fans in the area. So taking this all into consideration, I'm going to have to give Sheffield United a very good 9 out of 10. Sheffield Wednesday, like their close rivals, are known for their passion and commitment to their team. Across the count this season so far, they have an average home attendance of 25,000 people, which is huge for this level of football. It also amazes me that one city can have two absolutely massive teams that belong in the Premier League. The capacity of Hillsborough is 34,000 people, which at times means that large parts of the stadium are empty, but that is more than made up for by the enthusiasm of the home fans. In terms of away support, similar to United, Sheffield Wednesday have one of the best away supports in the league, especially in the north of England. So, because of all this, I am going to give Wednesday fans a 7.5 out of 10. Stoke are another club with a great history, being one of the founding members of the football pyramid. But nowadays, they are in the more modest mid-table positions in the championship, and their fan base certainly reflects that at the moment. Stoke have the 10th highest attendance in the division, with an average of 22,000 per match. In my personal opinion though, despite having many supporters, Stoke do struggle to make a great atmosphere, especially when it comes to away games. There are times when it can be electric in the Bet365 stadium, but more often than not this season the atmosphere can be quite flat. One thing about Stoke is they do have a very loyal fan base, as their attendance numbers have been consistent for a couple of seasons now. Overall, I'm going to rate Stoke a 7 out of 10. Sunderland, now we go to by far the biggest team in this league, and the sleeping giant that is Sunderland Football Club. With an average match attendance of 40,000 people, which most Premier League teams could only dream of getting the fans also. Travel in huge numbers. I remember one year they came to Cardiff and absolutely packed at our away end, and were very loud as well, especially since it's about a 12-hour round trip in a car. Honestly, it is absolutely crazy how this club is only in the second division of English football. Sunderland fans are also very dependent on their football team, and you can see that it really matters to them, and in my opinion, they are the best example of a sleeping giant. Even in League One, they were getting many more at home than a few Premier League clubs, which is just crazy to think about. For the top fan base in the Championship, and one of the best in the country, I am going to have to give them a 10 out of 10. Swansea City, the Swans are a club who have slipped further and further down the pyramid in the last couple of seasons, and so have their fan base, with an average match attendance of 15,000 fans, which is significantly less than last season average. Also, due to the geographically location of Swansea, with it being in West Wales, it is probably much harder for their fans to be able to travel to many away games without having to break the bank on a train ticket. Fuel costs. At its core as well, I would say that Swans, especially this season, is one of the smaller clubs in the Championship as a whole, as the catchment area of Swansea is quite small, and they do not have the pull that goes with being the capital. City of Wales. But don't get me wrong, Swansea fans are very passionate about their team, and know what is right for the football club. I am going to have to give Swansea fans a 6 out of 10. Watford next up is the Hornets, who have an average match attendance of just above 19,000 people. Considering where Watford is, the club does really well for itself to stand out amongst the London clubs to be able to attract many fans. Vicarage Road itself has a capacity of 22,000 people, which means that on a match day, the atmosphere is often quite good as the fans are close together, and there are only a few empty seats dotted around the place. Watford's away fans are also quite good, and I personally have seen how mental it can be in that away end for a Watford fan. I genuinely think their away support is one of the best in the Championship. I know that might be a bold take, but I think it might just be true. Taking all of this into consideration, I am going to have to rate Watford an 8 out of 10. West Bromwich Albion now. For my final team, West Brom, who have an average matchday capacity of just under 25,000 people. Without doubt, West Brom are one of the biggest teams in the Midlands, and their fan base definitely makes the Hawthorns a very tough place to go if you're an away team. The club's catchment area is also quite large, but the main problem with that is fans have got an option between many different clubs to support in the area, such as West Brom's rivals Wolves. Away from home, West Brom tend to be one of the stronger teams in the Championship, with them often packing out away end and shouting their heads off for 90 minutes. With all of this in mind, I'm going to give the Baggies a score of 8.5 out of 10 right then, if you have managed to make it this far into bar. The video then, thank you so much for making it this far, and if you did enjoy, please consider subscribing for more content similar to this. Check out some more of my videos, and put your thoughts on what I made of your team in the comments. Also put some video suggestions down, so I know what you want to see more of. Thank you for watching and have a great day.